Okay, so we're back. I noticed that this was a little loose laterally, side to side. That little noise there. I've got a big adjustable for that. And I'm just going to come in on the other side. And it has backwards threads. So I just move the nut a little bit. I tighten the inside cone a little bit. And then we're just tight. There's a little cone in there that I moved. And I just loosen that nut and tighten it. Now it's not loose and it still spins and it's nice. So I found another bike. They're out there, I'm telling you. And can we rid them? Can we rid all of the landfills and save all the bikes? Can someone get a counter and count how many bikes we have fixed? I'd love that to happen. We have a website with a counter if everybody can register and just say that you saved a Huffy. Oh, these are heavy. They're all there, and they're still heavy. They're done. But see, here we have some tires. Let's look at these tires up close. This is what I was talking about, the crack. That's okay to use. It really is. If it starts peeling off, then it's not. But this is okay. We'll see when it inflates. But this chain is no good. The seat's no good. I could put another chain on here from another bike, and I could put another seat on here, and I can still make these wheels. So down the road, if I find some other tires, I can put them on. But I'm after the tires right now on this. I'm after the tires. And so if that's all I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this right off. That's really a nasty chain. It's all rusty in place there. And these tires are so loose that you can just pop them right off. And there it goes. And the rim strips here, you might have to buy them, but you can also put old handlebar tape. If you go to your bike shop and they have old handlebar tape, ask them for some, and you can put the handlebar tape in there. You just want to cover up the nipples on the, so you don't have anything hurting the inner tube, so you don't get a flat, that's all. And I'm just going to put these right back on here to save them. That way I can roll this type of carcass around. And yes, I do have a stand, and yes, it makes it easier, but you can do all of this upside down as well. You can also get two big hooks from a place like Home Depot or something, and you can just put them on chains and hang the bike from a ceiling if you have rafters. There's all kinds of ways you can hang a bike very inexpensively. Stands are expensive and you don't really need them. And there, we're going to pull that out. And once again, we'll pull that right off. And what do you think? That rim strip's busted again. We'll just put that right back in. Those brakes are really tight. I'm not going to hurt myself because that would be breaking the rules. Let's pop that right back on. So there we have tires and tubes. That's not going to go anywhere. This bike would fix up nicely, though. It's a good bike. That's why I brought it in, because it's a solid bike. It'll fix up to a 1-speed. And okay, so we've got these. I think these are okay. They have a little bit of air in them. I think they're going to be okay. I just have to get some rim strips. I also have to double check my spokes if they're coming through here at all. I just like to double check it to make sure I'm okay. And actually, I have some old handlebar tape, which I'd like to use that to show what I was talking about. A lot of times with handlebar tape gets worn, where you have short pieces. Well, if bike shops would save scraps, like here's a piece of brand new handlebar tape, that is just short. Look how well that fits in there. And it makes a really nice pad. If I keep using some short pieces like that, I bet I could probably, even the tapered ends can just come right into each other. I can probably go all the way around this wheel and have a nice padded section here. Because we want it to be nice and soft. Sometimes that helps with, and I just go right over, by the way, I just go right over my valve hole because I'm just going to poke a hole in that so it's a nice fit. Just put that on there. We're almost there. This is all scrap. This is all scrap material that someone would have thrown out. I like that one better for the valve hole. So I'm just using some of this scrap and just playing around with it. You know, and then the old tape, some of these pieces of tape are really long, and you know, it's just going to do the whole thing easily. But I really get into using the scrap and reusing stuff. I think our future manufacturing is all about reusing what we have. I think we're in trouble if we think we can just cruise along and not use stuff. Well, we'll just use a little piece here. And I'll cut with the scissor. Yeah, I pulled these tires off that bike and it's been sitting there. And I think, let's see, there's my hole right there, so we can just take the scissor and we'll just push that right through there. We'll just use a scissor. Don't use your mom's nice scissors for this, all right? And then here, I'm going to push that right on down through there. Nice tight fit. It's bringing some of the tape in with it. That's okay. And then we just pop this old nasty tire on here. Now, you get to take it off with your hands, but you don't get to put it, and you get to take it off with tools if you want, but you don't get to put it on with tools. That's one of the things that's going to really mess up your, if you try to put that tire on with tools, it's going to, you might pinch the tube. There you go. Now you got the tire on. That was a nice tight fit. Now we got a pump. Any old air pump compressor will do. And if you don't have a floor pump, you should have one. Because if you ride a bike that's better than this, or you have another bike, you should really have a floor pump so you can pump up your tires at home and make sure that you have pressure in them. Because one of the big causes of flats out there is tires that are too low in pressure. So I'm just seating the tire as I go along, just kind of making sure that it looks like it's all even on the rim. And it looks pretty good. I'm going to put that on there now. We've got about 40, I'll probably put about 45, 50 pounds in it. I want it to be firm enough so it's really solid. And I want it to be firm enough so if I check it, I know that that tube's gone down. Maybe I have to put another tube in it, but I'm thinking this tire and tube are good. Here we go. Now this is all reused stuff except for that hub, remember. We're all on that. Now we can have some fun before we do the front wheel. We're going to put our, we have a ring here that's a dust cover, and that goes on. And then we have our sprocket. And the sprocket, if you look, has two different sides. One kind of rides up, and one, it's different. It's stamped. Well, you want to make it so more of the sprocket faces towards the wheel. And then you got a little snap ring. And they're not that hard. If you start one end and just kind of rotate it around, you can actually do that without any tools. And I just kind of tap it to make sure that that it's all on there. Now that's really fun. Now they've given me 2 washers, but I'm not going to use those. And they've given me this coaster brake band, which is really important. So first I'm going to come back here. I'm going to put my wheel on. It fits the frame nicely. I'm just going to snug it down just a little bit. And I'm going to get that coaster brake band. And something that fits through it. I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it around here like this. And then I'm going to take this, it can be anything. Well, not a nail because you might hurt yourself. But I'm going to push this through the hole, and I'm going to push that through the hole, and I'm just going to mush it together until they come flat. Because now I have a nice flat area. It's really nice to use a screwdriver that fits through there. Now I can come up here and I have a nice area that I can put my bolt right through that's all lined up. More or less lined up here. There we go. The one they gave me, it should go through. There it goes. And it's really important to put your bolt through right now and just leave it loose. Because when you tighten this down, you don't want to have to move that arm all around. Now I can move this. Now I can move this back and forth if I want. And I'm going to put it right up here to the end of the drop. Right? So we have a lot of dropout. Look at all that drop. If you don't have a dropout like this on your frame, it won't work, okay? So we should have talked about that in the beginning, but most of these old bikes do have a dropout like this where you can slide the wheel back and forth and get your chain tension. So now we have the chain. And when we did the chain tool before, we left this pin on this side. If this pin comes all the way out, you got to do another one because you don't want to try putting that pin back in, but you want to leave it in that. And you want to use that. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to go to the small sprocket because it only has 2. If it had 3, I would go to the middle sprocket. Unless you want it to be really easy to pedal, you can go to the tiny sprocket on 3. It all depends on, who's using the bike, how strong are they. I had one person that really needed it. Now see, this is kind of loose here, but if I go here, I might be able to make that, but I'm already at the end of here. So I'm going to add a whole other link, and I'm going to try it there first. And this one I'll take out, and now I have spare chain. If I did a number of these, I probably have enough spare chain to make another bike. And I just feel like it's going to go, and then I stop. What that lets me do, let's see, pop that out. And there's that chain again, that piece. We take this one here, we just kind of work that right in there. And now here's a fun little trick that I like to use. If you have a pair of water pump pliers, some people call them channel locks, you can really save yourself some aggravation by just squeezing it right there at the end of that plier and snapping it right in place so that you know it's lined up. And once that's lined up, then you can use a tool. You can use a tool to run the whole thing in. That's okay too. And then you take that link and you kind of just work it back and forth a little just to free it up. Now we take this and we loosen here. And we're going to pull that as far back as we can. And there's our chain tension. Now I'm holding it on one side. I'm going to snug this down a little bit. I'm going to force that over to that other side. That one's really solid now. Now I can make my final adjustment, although that's pretty nice, but it has a little bit of a, nope, that's pretty nice. That's pretty darn nice. Now I can tighten up my poster brake arm bolt. And we'll take this off because we don't need it. And there's a nice coaster brake. Ta-da! And all I have to do is the front wheel, which it needed some. Now we'll have the luxury of putting some of this on. We're just going to put our nice tape on here. We're going to take a whole roll of tape. Like I say, if the bike shops have any old handlebar tape, you can get that instead of, they might just give it to you. And see, that just scrolls right around there like that. How fast? We'll just pull that off. We find our valve hole. Take our scissors again. And pop this baby right on. That other tube's holding so far. I bet this one will too. We'll just pop that on like that. Now we've got this one set. Take as long as you want. It's okay. I like to do the simple things quickly and the things that take more mind a little slower. And we'll just pump this one up. I've done these in 45 minutes from start to finish. I've done them in an hour, a couple hours. It's just, something. Sometimes you see a bike and it lends itself so perfectly, you just got to jump on it right away, and then it goes so quickly. But the point is to have enthusiasm about it, to be happy about it, to realize that you're saving a bike. And if a million people can dump a bucket of ice on their heads, can 100,000 people save a bike? Can 100,000 more people be riding? Can we make these bikes available to people? Because let me tell you, if all of a sudden you got 5 of these, well, now maybe there's a Boy Scout troop that wants them. Maybe there's a church group. Maybe there's some needy people in town that need them for real transportation. Maybe there's a program that you want to start yourself. How about you come up with the idea what to do with all these bikes now that you fixed them, because it's so easy? I believe that we can do what we need to solve the problems we have. It's just that people haven't been training us how to do it. And this is one problem we have. Bicycles we're throwing away that are perfectly good, and now we have a wonderful, wonderful coaster brake bike. We can ride around the world, we can pedal and stop, and give you years and years of reliability, and it even has its own kickstand. And everyone who rides one of these comes back smiling. My rear reflector did have a cracked mounting hardware, so I'll have to get another reflector if I want. I have one on the front. And there is your Save the Huffy campaign bike. Thank you for watching. Thank you for helping. I hope you save a Huffy. Feel free to contact me if you want, and we'll save all the Huffies out there. Thanks.